Hey everybody, this is Rachel with Rachel Q Stitches and welcome to my channel. Today is Tuesday, September 28th, 2021, and this is FlossTube number 34. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. This is a channel mainly about cross stitch. I might throw in some other things here and there, but for the most part, I talk about my cross stitching and what I've done over the past week. So, I want to thank everybody for their prayers and their kind words about my bad week I had last time. I am better. We went to a funeral for a friend of ours that had passed away before the last video. I didn't mention it, but he passed away and that was really hard. I've known him since I was 18. And so, you know, he was just such a great mentor to my husband and I, him and his wife, and we love them both so much, and we're gonna miss him a lot. He was not that much older than us, so that's kind of hard to bear. But as to my rest of my week, everything went fine. I'm doing better. I may not sound it, but I am doing better. I'm having some physical stuff going on right now, so that's kind of, I had to take some medicine yesterday, so I feel just a little loopy. For those of you that don't know, I was rear-ended almost a year ago by a drunk driver who promptly, after seeing that he did not kill me, got back in his vehicle and drove off. And he was using fake tags, so they were unable to find him, and so I am in constant pain because of it. And so yesterday, well, for the past couple of days, I had a pinched nerve and in my neck, and I couldn't function. I couldn't lift my arms. I couldn't do anything. So I texted my husband about 3 o'clock yesterday, and I said, I'm taking a muscle relaxer, so there won't be any dinner, and there probably won't be much conversation either. So I took one, and after he got home and I made sure he had something to eat, I went to bed. And so right now I'm still kind of dealing with that loopiness that the muscle relaxer does to me. But the pinched nerve is gone, so yay! I just know that I needed to relax, and I wasn't relaxing, I was tense. So if I took a muscle relaxer, my muscles relaxed, which allowed everything else to relax, and so I feel better today. Anyway, you didn't come to hear about my health, but that's what's going on. So I'm a little loopy. I forgot to put my contacts in this morning, and I was trying to stitch, and I was like, why can't I see anything? And I realized I didn't have my contacts in. So there you go. I'm back. Anyway, okay, so I have one finish, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know what that is, and I'm excited to finish it. I told my husband I wanted to look for a frame because I wanted to get it up on the wall, because I have a box, and I moved the box. Oh well, I have a box of just finished items that need to be framed or something done with them. And so I told him, I said, I need to frame this piece. So this is it. This is Stitchography, and it was a downloadable pattern by Fat Quarter Shop. I did it on 14 count Aida that I inherited from my mom. And I used the Call for Cosmo. They sold the thread pack. I think they still do, in fact. So this is it right here. I am so excited to have it done. I like stitching words. I can't see doing just this kind of stuff, but I love it. I love the way it came out. I love the colors. You know, Cosmo is a good thread to sit there and say that I'm going to switch to Cosmo. I can't see myself doing that. But, you know, if I have it and I need to use it, I'll use it. But that is it right there. I am excited to have it done. So that is done. In fact, I was wanting to start their Christmas, all the trimmings. I have the fabric, I have the thread, but I was waiting till I finished that to start. I'm actually waiting for all the parts to come out. So far I like what I see, but I'm waiting for all the parts to come out because part 5 is up at the top and the bottom, and I don't trust myself with counting the spaces to start part 1, which is about, you know, maybe a fourth of the way down. I don't trust myself. It's the second row. So I said, well, I'll just wait until it all comes out and finish Stitchography first. And so that's done. So I think I might do all the trimmings next. So I am participating in the Christmas Garden with Friends Sal by the Contented Stitcher and Key X Stitch. So you'll know I had trouble getting my fabric in. It did a tour of Dallas-Fort Worth area. I finally got it in. And I started it last week, and then I did some more this week. So there you go. Here it is. I'm just going to show you what I did this week because I did the border. So here's what I worked on this week. You know, I just kind of filled in some flowers, finished this little thing, started this little tree, and then kind of finished some colors there. I'm just doing, I'll pull, now these are blended. These are DMCs, and so they blend them to mimic the classic color works or whatever it's called for. And so what I'll do is I'll pull out a length. And of course, instead of, you know, using two like you normally do, or folding it over like you normally do with, you know, just one strand, you have to use two. So it goes a little longer, but I go ahead, I didn't cut them as long. And so I'll just finish all the pinks. And when I run out of pinks, I'll pull out another color and do as many as I can in that color. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. So I got this done. Friday was the funeral, so I got it done a little bit during the day Friday, and then Saturday, and then a little bit Sunday. So I'm going to make this my weekend stitch. So there it is. Oh, and I'm doing this on, oh, my little tag fell off, 28 count mushroom Lucana. It's right there with DMC. Sorry, y'all. I'll try to remember. One day I'll remember. And then I have City of Romance. This is by Stitchrovia. I got it on Readly, which I have a link down below. In, I believe it's the Cross Stitcher magazine. And I'll try to remember to write that information down below for City of Romance. But you can also get it on her Etsy account, Stitchrovia. And I think it's called City of Love. But it's called City of Romance in the magazine. And I am doing this on a 14 count Aida that I dyed using Dynaflow fabric paints. And this is what I've gotten done. And so I started working on this side. I had already finished some of this. So I went ahead and finished it and started on this building. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm finding a color and then I'm stitching everything in that color within reasonable space and kind of going back over here too if it uses the same color in the hopes that they meet in the middle like they're supposed to. And so that is City of Love, City of Romance. I still love it. I still love the colors. I am using the called for anchor. The chart calls for DMC or anchor or Madeira, and I am using this as an experiment with the DMC floss from Joann's. And the windows and doors and everything are this brown color right here, and that is a color that said to get two, and I did not buy two. I don't know why, but I didn't buy any of the ones that said to get two. So I went ahead and ordered a regular skein from 123 Stitch. Hope they match. And so I kind of want to see if there's a difference between the spool, but so far, I mean, I'm enjoying anchor, and you know, if I have a pattern that calls for anchor, I can so see myself using it. It's a good floss. I don't like the spools, but it's a good floss, and that's it right there. And then I started working on, I started working on the words of A Mighty Fortress. This is by Heartstring Samplery, part of their Sunday Stitches. And this is done on a vintage printed even weave that I believe might be 32 count. I'm not sure. This is what I have done. I started working on the M after I took that muscle relaxer. And it must have kicked in because my M is one stitch too short, but I'm not fixing it. I'm leaving it. And so this is it right here. I am using the call for DMCs, or the DMC conversion that she supplies. hers is charted in different fancy flosses. And so this is it right here. And I like it. I like the blue. Usually the letters are called for in a gray, but this is in a blue, and it's very, very pretty. I like the blue. So that is it. And so last week I told you about a heritage piece that I am working on. I contacted Stitchin Mommy because I wanted to do a cross stitch design. My grandparents back in the 60s, my dad said he thinks it was right after they were married. They were married in 67, him and my mom. And this is my mom's parents, by the way. So they had a pew. I guess it was part of a church fundraiser or something. They had a pew done in the local Catholic church at St. Peter's in Carencro, Louisiana. And they had a pew done with their names. My grandfather was a Thibodeau, my mom was a Thibodeau, and my grandmother was a Picard. Like I said, if you're true French, it's Picard, but we say Picard. And so I'm gonna try to put a picture here of what the pew looks like. I always remember that pew. That's the church I was baptized at. I think my brother was baptized there. My parents were married there. It's the church they went to. For the first half of my childhood, I was raised Catholic. Anyway, so they had this pew made, and I've always loved the pew. My grandfather, among other things, owned back in the 30s and 40s, he owned a radio repair business. He sold and repaired radios. He also was, back in the 20s, late 20s, early 30s, he had a Harley Davidson dealership here in town. It was the only Harley Davidson dealership, and I have some really cool newspaper articles about that. He owned a lot of businesses, but the one business that really took off, he had a dairy farm, all kinds of stuff, but the one that took off was his electronics business. And he, in fact, to this day, my dad and my mom's sister and her husband still owned that business. Anyway, so it has their names. I'm going to show you. So I reached out to Stitchin Mommy and I said, hey, I want to do this. And I've tried to do the free programs, but there's too much noise in the background, the carving of the wood. And I can't seem to, get rid of that noise. And she said, I can do it. And I think it was like $18, y'all, which, I mean, I've spent on one pattern before, you know. So for her to do this for me was just fabulous. So this is what she did. And so the reason I'm telling you about the business is because a lot of people are like, where are those? I'm like, those are radio towers, radio frequencies. So anyway, this is on our pew in the church. And so it's got the year they were married, 1938. The only thing I wish I had done was asked her to put their year of birth. With my grandfather would be 1911. And yes, my grandmother, 1922. They were 11 years apart. My grandfather was 27 and she was 16 when they got married. Totally acceptable in 1938, not so acceptable now. But this is it. I am going to assume that these are having to do with our French heritage. I think this is an oak leaf, so I'm going to say probably for the wild big oaks that we have here in Louisiana, and of course the fleur-de-lis. So this is the Thibodeau and Picard. She called it the Picard pew, but Thibodeau and Picard. And so I started stitching this. I told my aunt about it. My aunt is my godmother. My mom had 3 sisters. My aunt is a twin. That my mom's older sister passed away before her, a week before, and her brother passed away about a good 5 years before my mom did. Anyway, so there's only the 2 twins left, and so I called my aunt and I said, guess what I did? So anyway, I don't know if y'all are watching. I think one of my aunts started to watch when I first started, but I don't know if she's continued or not. But anyway, so this is what I've gotten done right here. I started Thibodeau. I started in the center top, And then I worked my way and did the Thibodeau, and I'm starting the radio towers. And so that's it. The back of the pew, the carving, and you'll see, because when I put the picture up, is this color, which is the noise that I couldn't get rid of. So that's it. So I'm so excited. Years ago, I always talked about doing a quilt like this, but I could not wrap my head around how to do the radio towers, because they are very, I don't know. I couldn't get my brain around that. So that is my heritage piece. It is done on, here we go, 25 count chocolate Lugana. It took me about 5 days to find the perfect fabric, and because I was looking for a 28 or a 32, and I just couldn't find it. And so finally I just looked up, went on 1, 2, 3 stitch. I just chose dark brown, and this popped up, and I'm like, that's it. I've got to do that. That's the color I want. So that is my heritage piece that I wanted to do. So, funny story for about my grandfather. Growing up, my dad didn't talk too much about his parents. I knew my grandfather on my dad's side was in the Navy. I knew he was a Navy brat. I knew they traveled a little bit. For the most part, he grew up in Corpus Christi. But my mom's parents, my grandfather died when I was 3, and my grandmother when I was 9. So I did not know them very well, but I was named after my grandfather. His name was Ralph George, and my name is Rachel Georgina. So I was named after my grandfather and my uncle, his only son, and my brother is named after my other grandfather and my other uncle. So, so that's kind of why, with us still owning the business and everything, it's just something that, we're all very proud of our grandparents, all of us cousins, just how they just, they succeeded. They did well. They lived the dream, I guess you could say, So anyway, so that is my heritage piece, and that's why I'm so thrilled about doing it, and I cannot wait to work on it. I have vowed to work on it every Wednesday and try to get it done as soon as possible. That will go on my heritage wall with my remember me, and if I ever get around to, which I think I'm going to start in the beginning of the year. So let's talk about this 2022 plans. I want to work on Anniversaries of the Heart. I will be doing a small version, which will consist of the one long piece, which I have, and 2 smaller pieces. And so the one long piece will be for 4 smaller pieces, I should say, 4, which will be for my parents, the big one, and then my mom's 2 sets of her parents. I'm trying to figure this out. Her parents, like this, and I'm gonna some way try to put, my grandfather's name, and then somewhere on there his parents' initials, my grandmother's name, and then somewhere on there her parents' initials. Somehow or another, I'm gonna try to fit in 3 people on those little blocks. But the big block will be for my mom and dad, and I'll have my brother and I's initials on there. That's going to be my 2022 plan for doing Anniversaries of the Heart. And then I need to ask my husband if he wants to do his parents. His parents divorced after 25 years of marriage, and so I'm not sure exactly, if he'd want me to do something or not. But, I'll ask him and see what he wants me to do. I might just do them individually. Not sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll do 2 of them and stitch them together, with a seam down the middle with them on each side. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So anyway, so that is my stitching this week. I don't have any new plans, no new starts. I have been thinking about, what I want to do. I was on 1, 2, 3 Stitch buying some fabric. And I was like, do I really need, and I was looking at the patterns, because I was like, oh, maybe I could throw a pattern in there that I really want. And, and I was like, I don't need to buy patterns. I have enough patterns. I have enough floss that I could make substitutions if I needed to. So after I took my medicine yesterday and I couldn't see to stitch, I put on FlossTube and I went and grabbed my stack of cross stitch and country crafts magazines from the late 80s and early 90s. And I kind of started going through them, seeing if there was any reason for me to keep them or anything like that. And I did find a couple of really neat reproduction samplers. And I was like, I think instead of me spending $18 on a pattern, I think I'm going to stitch some of those. So stay tuned for those. I might be bringing those out soon when I get my fabric in and see about stitching those. I was just really discouraged the other day. I was watching a very popular FlossTuber. And I enjoy watching them, but I don't know, maybe it was just because I was hurting and wasn't feeling good, but I was watching them and it was an hour something video. And I kid you not, they spent maybe 5 minutes talking about what they've been stitching, and the rest of the time was showing their purchases. And I guess I became really discouraged, watching that. I don't have the money to spend that kind of stuff. And I don't think it's jealousy, but it's more of a, I have a lot of stuff already. Do I need any more? And is this encouraging me to spend money that I really shouldn't be spending? I'd rather, I have tons of patterns that I want to stitch. So wouldn't it be better for me to just spend it on fabric and get to stitching them than just buying a ton of patterns that I'm never going to stitch? And I understand people like collecting them, and I get that. And if you can, I'm all for it. Like I said, I am all for, if you can buy it, supporting the artist, and I will support those that I can as best that I can. But when I first started this, I was doing a stitch from stash, and I kind of fell off the wagon there. So I think I'm back on that, at least for a little while, until I can feel justified in buying something new. But anyway, so that's my little rant at the end. If you stayed for this, thank you. Just kind of something that's been on my heart, just about, the amount of spending I end up doing on things that I'll never do, and just knowing what I'm dealing with, with my mom that she left behind. I don't want my kids to have to go through that. So that's kind of, where I'm at. So look for some, there will not be any ducks or geese with bonnets in Country Blue. So don't worry, there will not be any of those. A lot of it, oh y'all, I don't know if y'all hear that thunder, but we are about to get some storms. Anyway, but look for some, some samplers. There is one. I do have two of the Amid Amish Life magazines. I am missing, I believe, the center panel. I'm not sure which one just yet. It was the first one that came out. And so I'm missing that one. So I'm on the hunt for that magazine. And, there's that I want to do. And there, like I said, there's several reproduction samplers that are in there that I'm like, these are really pretty. I mean, why not do them? I will say you probably will see a purchase soon. Whilst Iris Naps this Friday is releasing a reproduction sampler to benefit breast cancer. For those of you that do not know this, my mom did pass away because of breast cancer. And so I will be purchasing her chart and I will be stitching it, and somehow or another I will be adding my mom's name to the bottom instead of the name that she has on there. But I will be stitching that, and I probably, even though my mom did not like pink, so maybe I'll do it in blue. I know that I can't think of who it is. Jacob at Modern Folk, I believe, is doing dark sampler in November, maybe. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do it in a pretty blue color. She likes blue. It won't be dark. It won't be a navy or anything like that. It'll be a pretty navy. It'll be a pretty blue color. So that's probably what I'll end up doing, is in some blues for Mama. I'll see. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyhow, but there will be that purchase. I will be purchasing that to support breast cancer research and all that stuff, because we do need to find a cure for this. Anyway, so that is all for me. I'm up to 25 minutes. Thank y'all for staying with me. I really appreciate it. In the comments, let me know. I know I watch several FlossTubers that do stitch older things. And if you stitch older things, let me know. I'm curious, what your favorite is. If any of y'all stitched Amid Amish Life back in the day, let me know. It's really pretty. It's huge. It's the 3 panels, so I'm not sure exactly if I will do it, but it's on the plans somewhere. And, you know, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank y'all for stopping by. Bye.